Good morning. Welcome back to my garden. So I haven't shown you what has happened here since the beginning of May, and it is now June 6th, and a lot has changed. I don't think this was even planted last month, and things are up and growing, and I'm going to show you what is happening here. And so we'll start here in the main garden, and I'll take you around. Okay, so along this edge, I had tried to plant some of the cranberry beans that I showed in my bulk food haul. It looks like only 3 of them have come up, at least so far. This is really mostly just sawdust here, even down deeper. So really I'm kind of surprised they came up at all, but they're looking okay. These 2 are butternut squash, and it took them a long time to come up, but they're up now and doing well. I had seeded a bunch of herbs, and it's just not looking good. I think next year I'm just going to do a perennial bed, and I'm going to buy starts, and I think that's going to do better. There's something in that one, and it doesn't have a label. I don't know. I do have some dill here that has been growing. Back here are my peppers all along this row. And they've taken a long time to do anything. For a couple weeks, we had temperatures dipping down into the high 30s at night. And now that it's warmer, they seem like they're doing better. There's a lot of new growth on them, but I do feel like they're a little bit behind. Here's some basil, some cilantro. Here's the potatoes that I had shown you guys last time. These are actually up to my waist now. I'm 5'6" and they're up to my waist. And they're starting to bloom. So I guess we're on the downhill. You know, they've peaked as far as height, and then they'll start putting all of the energy into what is below ground. It seems like we have planted them deep enough. I'm not seeing any potatoes kind of coming through the soil, which is a wonderful thing. Sometimes, last year especially, we had someone else rototill our garden, and it was so bad. All of the potatoes were sunburned because they just didn't go deep enough. So this year they're looking really good. I'm really excited about that. A friend gave me some mint. This one seems like it's struggling a little bit, but I have not had success growing my own mint, so hopefully these will do okay. And there's another mint. This is some kale that I planted in here. I planted spinach in there too. It's not really doing anything. This I planted carrots in, but it's not doing anything. This is supposed to be lemon balm. I'm not really sure what's weeds and what is lemon balm, if there is any lemon balm in there yet. We'll see. And then these 2, nothing had come up. I'd planted chamomile. It didn't come up. So I just threw some black bean seeds in there. And if there's something we can grow, it is beans. And so we will continue to grow those. Something came into the garden and kind of cut off a few of these potatoes, but they will continue to grow underneath. I'm thankful for that. Walk up here around. See if I think I can show you very easily the potato flowers, but I think potato flowers are so beautiful. Oh, here we can walk through. And also, I'm not weeding the potatoes this year. I just don't feel like it's worth it, except this. This needs to come out. This is Jimson weed. It makes a beautiful tropical looking flower that is extremely poisonous. So goodbye, Mr. Jimson. We do not want that in the garden. And there are a few more probably in here. But here are the potato flowers. Aren't they just beautiful? I love them so much. There's just that little pop of color in this sea of green. And you can kind of see they're very tall. They're looking gorgeous. We got a lot of rain the first week of May, and then for the last 4 weeks we've not had much rain. In the last 2 weeks we've had no measurable rain, which is very odd for Maryland. I've watered this garden three times. 3 times in those 2 weeks, and I have not watered the potatoes at all. They're underground, they're doing fine, but some things just needed a little bit of help. So we had planted okra in this section, and there are a couple coming up. This is probably the worst patch of soil in the whole garden. We didn't really get any manure up here, and so it's not growing things very well. There's a little okra. There's a little okra. Maybe they'll still do okay. I've heard they have a longer growing season, so we will see. There's another one. And then we put in this little hoop house for our brassicas because cabbage moths are really bad. So this end is broccoli and cauliflower, I think, and I'm not sure. Yeah, you can see, look at that beautiful broccoli forming in here. Almost all of them have a head starting to form in there. It's earlier than they usually start to form, and I think it's because we've given them so much protection. And then we have, these ones might be cauliflower, but I have a lot of cabbages in here, and they are starting to kind of curl inward, which is the beginning of a head of cabbage. They'll start pulling inward and they'll tighten. Lots of them starting in there. These last 4 plants on this end are the Brussels sprouts. I've never grown them. I don't know what to expect, but they're green and healthy looking. We have tomatoes the whole way, well, most of the way down these cattle panels. I think we have about 20 feet, I believe, of tomatoes. Again, I feel like they're a little bit behind because of the cold temperatures, but they're growing now. Every day I feel like I see some growth to them. I haven't really done anything except I've kind of woven them through as they've started to fall over. That's as much as I have done to them, and I've watered them a couple of times. They're in the shade. I don't know if I can show you here. Underneath this big old oak tree. And I'm not sure that it's the best thing for them as far as growing. But I do think not being hit by the sun has helped them to stay moist, even though it is very dry here. So then in this row, we've got some lemon squash. I really enjoy the lemon squash. You'll have to look it up. It's really good. Over here we have some more okra. And this was planted later than the others, but it's doing better. And that's why I say it's the soil. This soil is a lot better than what is up in that corner. These are some beans because I need to fill in. These are beets. This is supposed to be heat wave lettuce. It's just starting. Some carrots over here. More lettuce. I don't remember which variety. We do have some weeds still, but we're doing what we can here. It's still a lot better. I've not weeded nearly as much as I usually do. We've got more carrots and some spinach coming up there. Over on this side, we've got some bachelor buttons growing. These are pinto beans. Those are black-eyed peas. And then a little strip of bachelor buttons in there. And then this whole section is green beans, yellow beans, any kind of like a green bean type bean are in this section. They're looking amazing. We had one section in here, there was a huge dandelion that came up, and nothing grew next to it. So we have a couple smaller ones, but they'll grow and catch up. And like I said, they're looking lovely. I'm so excited about them. Let's see over here. This is kohlrabi, started from seed. Marigolds, radishes. more beets, and then the onions that we planted from the ones in the root cellar. Even though we rototilled deeply, we obviously missed a couple of potatoes. They're growing up among the tomatoes. I may pull them, I'm not sure. These are big boy tomatoes and they're much taller than the rest of them. So hopefully maybe that means we'll get them early. I don't know. I planted zucchini right here twice. It has not come up. I don't know if I'll reseed it again. I showed you the butternut there. There's a black beauty zucchini, a white zucchini, an acorn squash here. I seeded that twice. It was supposed to be another acorn squash and it didn't come up. And then I planted a whole packet of nasturtiums and I think 3 flowers came up there. So, oh, and the cucumbers over here are not doing as well as I had hoped. We had a lot of bug damage here and some just didn't come up. I had planted them through here, nothing came up. Over here, nothing came up. We do have several. I may still put a few more in there. The summer is very young, so we have plenty of time to grow some more if we would like to do that. Walk up here. Okay, and then here in our barrels, we have lots and lots of peas. They're so beautiful. So excited about them. They're everywhere. We've got them all along this side that are getting close to being able to be picked. Some are just starting. And then this other side of the barrels gets less sun, and the peas are much smaller. But the lettuce is doing much better here than it is in these. These get really dried out. I have watered the barrels a few more times than I've watered anything else. They just don't hold moisture. They only have so much, to draw from. But this side, the lettuce is doing really well, but I can't keep things away from it. So we've harvested lettuce twice, and there's still some, but you can see a bunny or something has definitely gotten to some of it. We will still wash it and eat what we can. I'm not opposed to that. There are a lot of flowers on these peas, so looking forward to a good pea harvest this year, which I'm very, very happy about. I have this little raised bed that I got from Amazon. It's like felt, and I planted some of those cranberry beans in it, and they look like they're doing very well. They're very happy there. I do water it more often too. I planted beets in this raised bed twice. The chickens have decided that is their home, so we are not getting beets from there. There's some more peas that I just kind of put along the fence here in the garlic bed. The garlic is looking good. As I said, or maybe I didn't say it, we harvested the scapes off of them yesterday. So then it's time for them to put all of their growth into the bulbs, and hopefully we'll have a good garlic harvest there. The grass is really crunchy. There's some seed heads and things that could be mowed, but it's just, it looks so bad because we need rain really badly. So this is the other potato garden, and it's doing really well too. It hasn't started blooming yet. These are a different variety than the others, so I'm thinking that is why. I showed you my apple tree in the last one and all the little baby apples, but it got fire blight. And so all of them fell off. I think there's 2 apples on it. Same thing with the peach tree. There was a couple still left on it, but I don't see any I don't see any peaches on it now. It's very sad. Like I've said before, I'm thankful that I don't have to grow, everything that I consume. We'd be in a world of trouble if that were the case, but we're doing the best we can with what we have. So these last two raised beds here, I'll show you what's going on there. Again, these need water more often. So these are the turnips, and I'm thinking it won't be long. Someone told me that they like to eat the turnips when they're slightly bigger than a mandarin, and these are getting there. I'm trying to keep them covered, but I guess the soil's so rocky, they're just working their way up through. But they're doing really well. These along the edges, you can see I planted pumpkins. I'm hoping as they grow that I can kind of train them over the edge and they won't take up much space. I planted spinach and kale in here twice. It is coming up, but it's just struggling. Apparently they don't like, you can't even see that one. They don't like raised beds. They're much happier down in the garden. So we'll see. This is kohlrabi. I planted a bunch. I've got 4 that actually came up. We'll see. I don't know how long that'll take either. This was a second planting of radishes, and it's obviously a different variety because the last ones, they got really tall. These ones are not. And then our strawberries. We've gotten a few, thankfully. Like I said, we don't have to eat exclusively from our garden. My 5-year-old, who said he does not like fruit, has determined he does like strawberries. So I will take that. These were the ones that we just put in this year. We went and bought all of our plants at the local greenhouse, and because we spent so much, the guy said, here, take some strawberries for free. So we put those in there, and they're doing okay.